Maya didn't recognize me at the coffee shop. She just saw someone willing to pay for her latte. "Thanks so much," she said, flashing that smile I remembered from high school, the one she used when she needed something. "I'm totally broke until payday." She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, the same gesture she'd used 10 years ago when she asked me to do her homework. I handed the barista my card and said nothing. "Before I tell you what happened next, let me know in the comments where you're from, so I know I'm not alone in this." I wish I could say her using me was new, but the truth was, Maya had been doing this since we were 15. Back then, I was the quiet kid who sat in the back of AP Chemistry, getting perfect scores while she charmed her way through presentations she hadn't prepared for. My name is Alex, and in high school, I was invisible to everyone except when they needed answers. Maya was different. She was the kind of person who lit up hallways, who made teachers laugh, who got invited to every party. When she asked me to help her with a project in junior year, I thought maybe she actually wanted to be friends. I spent 3 weeks building her entire science fair display while she showed up for 15 minutes to smile at the judges. She won second place. I got a thank you text that said, the best," with a heart emoji. It was Maya, effortless, charming, and completely unaware that other people had feelings, or maybe she knew and just didn't care. After graduation, she went to state college on her parents' money while I disappeared into MIT on a full scholarship. I worked 16-hour days, lived on instant noodles, and graduated top of my program. While Maya posted beach photos and sorority parties, I was filing patents for software that would eventually change everything. But she didn't know that. Nobody from home did. I kept my head down, built my company quietly, and sold it 3 years ago for a number that still doesn't feel real when I say it out loud. So when I moved back to our hometown to open a tech incubator and spotted Maya in my favorite coffee shop, looking at her empty wallet with that same helpless expression, something clicked. This was my chance to see if anything had changed. Spoiler alert, it hadn't. Over the next 2 weeks, I kept running into Maya. At first, I thought it was coincidence. The coffee shop, the grocery store, the park downtown, she always seemed surprised to see me, always had some small crisis. "Oh my God, Alex, I forgot my card again, could you?" Or "I'm waiting for Venmo to go through, mind spotting me?" I said yes every time, not because I was kind, because I was curious. How long would this go on before she asked my last name? Before she wondered what I did for a living? Before she saw me as anything other than a convenient wallet? 2 weeks turned into 3. Maya started texting me to hang out, always at places where I'd end up paying. Drinks at Harbor Bar, my treat, except her card would decline and she'd laugh it off while I handled the bill. Dinner at Russo's, "I'm craving pasta," followed by "Oh no, I left my purse in my car, can you grab this?" I watched her perform the same routine over and over, the apologetic smile, the promise to pay me back, the immediate subject change to something about herself. She talked endlessly about her job as a social media coordinator, making $30,000 a year sound like a fortune. She complained about her roommate, her car payment, her student loans. She showed me photos from college, pointing out girls who used to be her friends before drama she described as totally not my fault. I listened and paid and waited. The bills added up to maybe $2,000. Pocket change for me now, but she didn't know that. To her, I was still Alex from AP Chemistry, useful and forgettable. What she didn't notice was how I dressed. Simple jeans and plain shirts, nothing flashy. What she didn't ask about was my car, a modest sedan I kept in the parking garage. What she never wondered was why I was always free, always available, always able to pay without checking my account. Maya had decided who I was 10 years ago, and in her mind, I hadn't changed. I was still the helpful nobody who was lucky to be in her presence. That's why when her friends finally told her the truth, the look on her face made everything worth it. The moment happened at a restaurant downtown. Maya had insisted we go to Bellini's, the expensive Italian place where her college friends were having a reunion dinner. "Come with me," she'd begged. "I hate going to these things alone." What she meant was, I need someone to split the bill with. We sat at a table with 4 women who kept glancing at me with confused expressions, like they couldn't figure out why Maya brought someone so ordinary to their designer dinner. Halfway through appetizers, one of them, a woman named Stephanie with perfectly highlighted hair, squinted at me. "Wait, Alex, Alex who?" She pulled out her phone, fingers moving fast. "What's your last name?" I told her. Her eyes went wide. She looked at me, then at her phone, then at Maya. "Are you serious right now?" Stephanie turned her screen toward the others. I watched their faces change, watched the recognition hit. One of them actually gasped. Maya, Stephanie said slowly, do you have any idea who you've been hanging out with? Maya laughed nervously. That's Alex. We went to high school together. This is Alex Winters, Stephanie said, pronouncing my full name like it was a revelation. He founded CloudSync. He sold it to TechCore for $420 million. There was a Forbes article. His face was literally on the cover. The table went silent. Maya's fork clattered against her plate. What? Her voice came out small and confused. No, Alex is. We're just. She looked at me, really looked at me, for maybe the first time since high school. I saw her brain working, trying to piece together how the quiet kid who did her homework became someone her friends recognized from business magazines. You've been making him pay for everything, haven't you? Stephanie asked, her tone sharp. Oh my God, Maya, that's so embarrassing. Another friend jumped in. Wait, you didn't know? How did you not know? Maya's face went red, then white. We were just hanging out. He offered to pay. I didn't. Her hands were shaking now. She turned to me, eyes desperate. Alex, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. If I had known. She trailed off because we both knew exactly what she meant. If she'd known I was wealthy, she would have treated me differently. Better, like I mattered. Known what? I asked quietly. That I was worth paying attention to. The table got even quieter. Maya opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Stephanie was scrolling through her phone, pulling up photos from charity events I'd attended, articles about my donations to educational programs, interviews I'd given about closing the opportunity gap in tech. He's given away millions, Stephanie said, showing Maya, to scholarships and school programs. He's kind of famous in the startup world. Maya stared at the photos like they were evidence of a crime she didn't know she'd committed. I wasn't trying to use him, Stephanie finished, because that's exactly what it looks like. One of the other friends leaned back, arms crossed. This is peak Maya behavior, honestly. Remember sophomore year when she borrowed everyone's notes and never returned them? Or when she made us all chip in for her birthday dinner, then conveniently forgot her wallet? They were turning on her now, and I almost felt bad. Almost. Maya excused herself to the bathroom. Through the window, I could see her packing outside, phone pressed to her ear, probably calling someone to process what just happened. Her friends stayed at the table, apologizing to me like they were responsible for her behavior. She's always been like this, Stephanie said, takes and never realizes what she's doing. We should have said something earlier, another added. We saw you guys around town, we just thought. Honestly, we thought you knew what you were getting into. I didn't tell them I did know, that every coffee, every dinner, every declined card was a test Maya kept failing. When she came back to the table, her eyes were red. She sat down without looking at anyone. The dinner continued in uncomfortable silence until the check came. Everyone reached for their wallets except Maya, who sat frozen. Out of habit, she glanced at me, then caught herself, then looked away. I've got it, I said, putting down my card. Maya flinched like I'd slapped her. Alex, no, I can't let you. It's fine, I said. Consider it a graduation gift for finally figuring out who I am. After dinner, Maya followed me to my car. Please let me explain, she said. I wasn't using you, I didn't think. You didn't think at all, I said. That's the problem. You never wondered why I was always available, never asked what I did for work, never questioned why paying for things didn't bother me, because in your mind, I'm still the kid from high school who exists to make your life easier. That's not fair, isn't it? Maya, you've texted me 17 times in 3 weeks. 14 of those texts were asking me to meet you somewhere. Not once did you ask how I was doing. Not once did you offer to do something free. Not once did you treat me like a friend instead of an ATM. She was crying now, and part of me felt cruel. But a bigger part, the part that remembered being invisible unless she needed something, felt nothing. I'll pay you back, she whispered. Every dollar, I promise. I don't want your money, I said. I wanted you to see me just once, without needing something from me first. I got in my car and drove away, watching her get smaller in my rearview mirror. My phone buzzed with texts almost immediately. Apologies, explanations, promises to change. I didn't respond. The truth was, I didn't do this for revenge. I did it because I needed to know if people could change, if someone like Maya could look past her own needs long enough to see the person standing right in front of her. She couldn't. And that taught me something more valuable than any amount of money, that some people will only ever see your worth when someone else points it out. Maya had a chance to know me, the real me, without the money or the reputation or the Forbes covers. She chose not to take it, so when her friends finally told her who I was, all she felt was regret for what she could have had, not regret for how she'd treated me. That's the difference between being used and being valued, and I was done being useful to people who'd never value me. 6 months later, I heard through mutual friends that Maya was still trying to explain what happened to anyone who'd listen. She'd created a whole story where I'd tricked her, where I'd hidden my success on purpose to make her look bad. She never understood that I didn't hide anything. She just never bothered to look. My tech incubator opened downtown 3 weeks ago. The building has my name on it. I've funded scholarships for 50 kids from our old high school, the quiet ones who sit in the back and get perfect scores but never get noticed, the ones who deserve someone to see them first. Maya drove past the building twice last week. I know because Stephanie told me. Said Maya sat in her car for 20 minutes, staring at my name in steel letters, finally understanding what she'd thrown away. Not my money, the chance to know someone real before the world told her he mattered. I don't think about her much anymore, but when I do, I remember that coffee shop moment, how easy it would have been for her to just ask my last name. How different everything could have been if she'd seen me as a person instead of a solution. Some people only see value when it's pointed out to them, and by then, it's already gone. If this story resonated with you, drop a comment below telling me where you're listening from and whether you've ever been underestimated by someone who should have known better. Hit subscribe so you never miss stories like this. And remember, the people who matter will see your worth without needing a Forbes cover to prove it. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.